What's up guys, today we're playing Epic 7, and today we're going into Abyss level 106. This level seems so easy, but the RNG is insane. A lot of heroes that I thought would work just did not work, but once I narrowed down my team, it was only 1 or 2 tries, and we're able to beat it. So let's go in, I'll show you exactly how to beat it, what team to use, and how you should gear them out. Here we go, Abyss level 106. The first wave at first can seem pretty annoying, but once you get a grasp of the mechanic, it really isn't that bad. If you're going to do any kind of ability that attacks these mobs, they're going to get 1 stack. And as they grow in power, they're going to start to really put a lot of pressure on you and your healer. Use your damage dealers to attack the main boss, and then use your Knight or your Soul Weaver to just spread around their S1s to anyone who's available. But don't attack the main boss because you don't want to build up those stacks too much because you're really not doing that much damage with those heroes anyway. Also, don't buff before the S number 3 on the main boss. She's going to take off all of your buffs. Other than that, it's a pretty easy fight. Do as much damage as you possibly can to the main guy without doing too much minor attacks with your Knight and your Soul Weaver.
I sense new magic nearby. Wanna get started?
I'll cut your throat. We'll take you down one by one. Let me demonstrate. An opening.
Child's play.
I protect. That's what I do.
Let me show you the results of my research. Even if you're scared, never give up.
You've got a long way to go, kid. Now!
Leave it to me. Underestimate me at your own risk. I'll beat you to a
Another
pulp.
trial to overcome. The weight of the oath I've taken will be brought down upon you. Let me demonstrate.
Wanna get started? I study so that I can help others.
I'll cut your throat. Do not fear. Stay calm and think rationally.
Child's play.
A true knight picks their battles wisely. I'll cut your throat.
You ready to get hit? I sense new magic nearby. Did that help?
I made it in the nick of time. Let me demonstrate. Another trial to overcome. Those who stray from the path of righteousness shall be punished.
Come at me! I'll show you what I've got!
You've got a long way to go, kid.
Let me show you the results of my research.
I protect. That's what I do. Let me demonstrate.
You ready to get hit?
Now here we go with the main boss, Luluca. What you want to do here is you want to have at least one hero 185 speed or more who has 2 buffs. Or you want to have 2 heroes above 185 speed, 1 buff each, or you can use Archie for 1 buff and then apply a buff with the next hero. This is very important because especially when Luluca does her S number 3, she's going to hit you super hard if you don't have at least 2 buffs. Pretty much what you should try and do is keep 2 buffs on you at all times while also damaging the boss down. Now the ads, you can pretty much ignore. You don't want to kill them because she's just going to summon more anyway. What you want to do is you want to time your buffs when they've just used their S number 3, because their ultimate abilities are going to remove the buffs from your team, which is a big problem and very hard to keep 2 buffs on you at all times if they're always removing them. Sometimes you're going to wipe because all of them go, you can't put up buffs, and then Luluca does her S number 3 and she wipes everyone. That's just how it is. Try your best and RNG will be on your side. Now, once Luluca gets to
You've got a
50%,
long way to
she's
go,
going to
kid.
turn one of those ads into a special
Let me
monster.
demonstrate.
Again, don't even worry about it. Just keep going on her. Keep up your buffs. Try and remove her immunity when you
Stay
can and
calm and
apply
think
defense
rationally.
break, and then just keep going with as much damage as you can possibly get. Now, one thing I will say is that Arky does do a ton of damage, and these guys will remove your souls
Rekos's
once she
soul is
gets
with
down
me.
past 50%. So
Another
go
trial to
ahead, use
overcome.
your Arky. It's like 40k damage. I utilize them mostly at the end, but it's a good way for you to add a buff to your team while
I
also doing
study
a
so
ton
that
of
I can
damage
help
here.
others. Please let me heal you.
You've got a long way to go, kid.
You ready to get hit? Why, you little? I'll end you! Turn to dust.
I protect. That's what I do. The weight of the oath I've taken will be brought down upon you.
Let me show you the results of my research. Even if you're scared, never give up. Underestimate me at your own risk. I'll beat you to a
I'll
pulp.
cut your throat. An opening.
Leave it to me. May the blessing of the stars fall upon us.
You've got a long way to go, kid. We'll take you down one by one. Stay calm and think rationally.
I made it in the nick of time.
Wanna get started? I study so that I can help others. It's Arky's turn!
Let me demonstrate.
Transformation time!
The shining whisper of the stars. A true knight picks their battles wisely.
Come at me! Don't look down on me!
You've got a long way to go, kid.
I will no longer hide. Together. Child's play!
I'll cut your throat. Do not fear. Stay calm and think rationally. Now!
Leave it to me!
Another trial to overcome.
You ready to get hit? Watch your mouth! If you want to live! I sense new magic nearby. With the fruits of my studies, I will protect everyone. Wanna get started? I'll show you what I've got!
Here we go with the team stats. I'm using a full team of 3-star heroes, and the best part is I already had these heroes built. I utilize these heroes in a lot of my hunts, or I pull them into expeditions, and so being able to use heroes you already have is really awesome to help save you gold, or you don't have to wait for a free unequip. Very first one here today is Mercenary Helga. She is amazing. She brings in buffs which we need to keep the boss from doing a ton of damage. She also brings in a defense break for 2 turns on both her S1 and her S2, and she's super easy to build. I have her onto basically a free attack set with, what is this? This is a ring that I got from one of the side stories, and then a pair of boots that I built. We're gonna modify this a little bit to maybe some effectiveness, maybe some flat attack. It'll work out pretty well. What you want is some pretty good attack. You want 3,500 or more. I like to keep my damage dealer somewhere around 170 to 200 speed. That works out. You need at least 85% effectiveness here because you get the 15% from being elemental advantage. Then go for some crit damage. Now this boss has 75 effect resist, so you need 60 effectiveness to land all these debuffs. With her buff here, she gets plus 50, so you only need to have a plus 10 effectiveness. Still, though, I like to beef her up just a little bit because she needs to have 85 for the expedition. And so when I like to use her in the expeditions, then she needs a little bit more effectiveness. Other than that, Mercenary Helga does a great job. She hits super hard. Make sure you put on Daydream Joker because this boss is not immune to damage that's HP scaling. And next up, we have Unbound Knight Airwall. I can't believe how much I really like this unit. Being only 3-star, she feels like a 5-star unit, and she's perfect for this fight. She brings in a buff on her S number 3, which also removes a buff from the boss, so you can take off that immunity, so you can apply defense break. Her S1 also takes off buffs here, and she brings in that escort. Escort is really nice because it helps you to transfer a lot of that damage onto your tankier heroes and helps your back row survive. Luluca, she crits everyone. Doesn't matter if it's Earth, doesn't matter if it's her best friend or her mama, she's critting everyone, and she's going to apply a ton of effects to you, which is just crazy how much RNG is involved in this fight. I didn't understand it until I tried it 10 times, and it was ridiculous. We want to be very, very tanky with this hero. I like to pull her in at 13 to 1500 defense. 25k HP is pretty good. I run her a little bit slower because she gets a CR boost onto her passive ability, which is nice. And then I run her at almost 200 effect resist. This is mostly for PvP, but you will not or should not get debuffed when you're running this much effect resist. Having some effectiveness on her does help as well. She does get a buff, I think somewhere around here. Effectiveness buff, I don't know, it's somewhere. She gets some effectiveness, but you still need to meet that benchmark of having 60% effectiveness to get in the dispels. Now we're coming up to Camilla. Camilla, super fantastic. I'm probably gonna use her all through the rest of Abyss because I don't have Kitty Clarissa. Now if you have Kitty, you can substitute her in for Camilla. Basically what we're doing with our Camilla here is not only does she apply some buffs on her S number 2, but then she brings in a dual attack on her S number 1, helping you to really knock down this boss, right? 2-turn defense break, and I have her onto Warhorn. She's the hero that I've been using Warhorn on. I know a lot of you in the end game, you're maybe have it on Cowrick or other types of heroes, but right now she's holding my Warhorn. Now what we need is not very much, honestly. Typically, I would build her at 3k attack. I try for crit chance and crit damage with at least 60% effectiveness here, and then everything else can go into speed. This is just gear that I had that was on my Cuirass, my old Cuirass, and so when I was done using Cuirass, I threw it on Camilla, not even thinking about it. She's way faster than I need, way more effective than I need, but she's going to do the job for you. Definitely, you can use much less gear and still have success. And lastly, we come to our healer, Magic Scholar Doris. She is fantastic in this fight. She has a very strong buff on her S number 2, healing and defense. That means you get 2 buffs for a maximum of 3 turns, which is very, very good when you have to keep at least 2 buffs on you at all times. Now Doris can do that all by herself. Just with Helga, 2 buffs all by herself. Very, very nice. If you time it right, your buffs are up all the time. As long as you can do it after the ads do their dispel, you're golden. Now one thing I did find with her is I didn't have enough healing, right? So I brought in Rod of Amaryllis after my first run, and that worked great. I didn't have any problem with healing, and we did have a little bit of trouble. I think 1 or 2 of our units died, but Dora is still able to keep us alive long enough to really benefit, put us in a position to win. Now this is my PvP Doris that I use to tank a Ravi, so if you have similar gear, I think it'll work just fine. She's on a full HP set, all free gear here, at 1500 defense, 25k onto your HP, 158, a little bit slower. I like to have her a little faster. Also, we see only 78 effect resist here. Ideally, I like to put her at something like 100. Now, if you have a Ray, I think a Ray would do really good here. You want to have a Soul Weaver who can remove debuffs. Also, someone with at least 1 buff is very, very nice, and someone who has enough healing to keep your team alive. Abyss level 106 is a challenging fight. I failed with 10 different teams, but once I put this team together, I beat it on just the second try, so keep going. There's a ton of RNG, you never know what's going to happen. Your next run could be the run that you succeed, and then you can move on to the next levels, which aren't nearly as hard. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Give me a like so other people just like you can find it as well. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck on your battles.